Oh, what a difference a week makes. All right, so last time we were out here, we were enjoying some warm weather, and unfortunately, we're back to the realities of winter. Today is December 22nd, because I know Wednesday is Christmas 2019. So, I stopped yesterday, had to go to Rhode Island to look at some machinist tools. And on the way back, I stopped at a place down in Connecticut, power equipment dealer called Dubay Tractor. I think they're in Coventry, Connecticut. But anyways, they're just over the line from Rhode Island. And they have a pretty good parts department there. They had two of those little plastic things that we lost. These little tiny clips here on the carburetor. They had two left in stock, so I picked one up. It's $2 and change. Which actually is, you know, it's ridiculous for that tiny little plastic thing to cost that much, but it's actually a reasonable price considering that there are places online that are getting $5 or $6 for those things. And then some of them actually have the nerve to charge you a $6 shipping charge, so I ended up paying $12 on one of those. Anyways, we got the clip back on, we got the throttle linkage all hooked up, I've got the governor linkage hooked up the way it should be, got the throttle cable hooked up. We've got our temporary Harley-Davidson, mid-70s Harley-Davidson Sportster ignition coil hooked up. I got the wire coming from the points is a little short to get all the way over to here, so I got this jumper wire on, which serves me fine because I can actually use this to shut the current flow off when I want to. Okay. So we just checked, and we do have spark at the spark plugs. So all that's left now for us to do to start this thing is to put a little bit of fuel in there. Now, I don't know if the fuel pump works at all, and if it did work, it would probably only pump up a bunch of garbage from the tank, but I think the tank is empty.
Full of water.
There's water in it?
Mm-hmm. The cap's broken, so water's been leaking in it for like years.
Yeah, so what we're probably going to want to do is make sure that that fuel line, that fuel line's disconnected from the tank. So we're not going to have to worry about, if it is water, it's probably frozen anyways. So, but we don't want to suck up water through that thing. Not that it's going to go anywhere, because I got the fuel line disconnected right here. See?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, let's see, what's going to be the easiest way to do this? We're going to use my little white auxiliary fuel tank. It's in a bucket in there, remember it?
Yep. Can I go on a small one?
That little white one, the small one, because the fuel connection on the carburetor points down in that way, it goes to the fuel line that actually runs underneath the carburetor and loops around and comes over to the fuel pump. So I'm not going to be able to hook directly onto that carburetor, see? Yeah. So I'm hooked into the fuel pump. Even if the fuel pump's not working, it should still allow fuel to pass from gravity. We'll have gravity flow on this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what's this?
So the idea is it should run in here.
What's that?
What's that?
What's supposed to be in there?
Well, this is the choke right here.
Oh, so that's for air?
Yeah, which we wanna have it closed for starting and open for we're gonna want to open it for running. It would be good if I could tell. Can't remember which way is open, which way is closed. Yeah, maybe I can see it. My light on my phone. We're running out of daylight already. I think that's closed. Yeah, and that's open. All right, so this is closed. That should do it. Right now, as soon as I hook that wire up, oh, I do have that wire hooked on. All right, well, we're ready to go.
Hold the fuel tank. I don't know if we have this.
Thought it'd be interesting.
Yep, I understand. Cold?
No, should be able to start cold. I don't think that's the issue right now. Might not be getting fuel into the carburetor yet. Let's dump some directly in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. this again.
Ooh.
Less choke. Nope. All right. More choke. There we go. All right. Batteries died, but we got batteries again, so. All right, so we got a little bit of a puff out of that thing.
I think because you put the gas directly into the carb.
Yeah, right. So let's see if we put the engine start on and it cranks a little faster. You can't get it to suck some gas in there. All right, we'll do the same trick again. Put a little more gas in there again.
Why is it doing that?
Not sure. There you go. For the throttle some more.
What?
I don't know.
It seems like the thing's...
That starter's not engaging.
Oh,
Oh, that's the brand new starter. Wonder why that's not working now. Isn't that a riot?
It seems like maybe...
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
No.
I want to hear your opinion. What is your thought process? I'm going to be fascinated to hear what it is.
My thought process is maybe the gear that's on top on the thing, on the starter fell off.
No, I can actually see it down there. What's happening is it's spinning, but it's not throwing out like it's supposed to. I don't know what happened.
Oh, great. It's a new starter, too.
Mm-hmm. How do you like them apples?
Horrible. Okay, so what's our step now?
I'm going to get a really, really long screwdriver because I can actually see the pinion gear on there.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can.
Okay.
Can't see.
Mommy, hold the flashlight. Oh, yeah.
What the hell sense does that make?
Goodness, hold on. Is a spring there?
The spring actually is what keeps it in. The spring is what makes it go back in to where it is. So if the spring wasn't there, we'd have the opposite problem. It would stay stuck out and engage to the flywheel. That would sound horrible if the engine started, because then the thing would still be trying to spin the starter.
Okay.
No, this is something different.
Well, I think we should call it today.
Oh, really?
I'm freezing.
Alright. I'd shut that off. Alright, December 24th, 2019, Christmas Eve day. And we're back out here. We're going to put the hood assembly back on the tractor today. Mark was just saying, hey, what about the starter? Well, that sticking starter, we're going to have to live with it for a little while until we figure something out, because The alternative is to take it out, we got to take the motor out again. And our heart just isn't in it. So that just was a major project, getting that thing out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward with it as is, but we want to get it covered back up. So we're going to get the hood assembly back on. And then I was about to have Mark put this belt back in, and then I remembered that I had discovered that the bearings in this are cooked. So that sounds horrible. It's also a little bent up. That's from prying on it with a screwdriver trying to get out of the way. I think I bent it once years ago, and then bent it even worse more recently. But considering that it's toast anyways, and we're gonna have to get a new one, that's no big deal that it's bent. The front PTO here is to drive this shaft down here, which on the front has a spline shaft for driving a snowblower attachment, which we don't have. And then it goes through the frame of the tractor, and there's a spline shaft on the rear side, which drives a rigid shaft that goes over to the gearbox on top of the mower. So the mower deck will not work until this is resolved. But for right now, Mark just wants a tractor that he can drive around and maybe pull a wagon with, so we're not concerned about the mower deck right now. So we're just gonna leave the belt off and leave this all off. I don't want to leave this bolt just hanging in here because it's going to vibrate out and lose parts. And I wanted to note how this goes back together so that months from now when we put this back together, we'll know the bolt goes in from the back side of the bracket, where my finger is here, goes in through the back side, through the bracket, through a washer, then through the pulley, and then on the pulley there was a nut, but I don't remember if there was another washer. Mark, why don't we grab that hardware? Now, the funny thing is, this bolt can't back out far enough to come out of this bracket because it hits the motor. So in order to get this bolt out, you either have to have the motor out, or you have to have this bracket off, which you can take the bracket off, but we're not going to. If I move this bracket over to the left that way far enough, it might just clear it, I don't know, but that would mean trying to get it to stretch this big huge spring quite a ways. So no, I'm just gonna leave it in there. That's gonna just have to stay in there.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go anywhere.